recently told to think smaller. And I was literally like, no. It just didn't make sense to me. Do I need to take that feedback? No. Am I going to cry about it? Also, no. Am I going to come back to you for advice? Definitely no.
For founders, the advice never ends, so discernment becomes a valuable skill. Think of this show as practice. I'm Lindsay Chupkema, and this is Actually I Can. Good conversations about bad advice. Let's get into it.
Nomiki, I am the founder of Theanna, an AI platform that combines community and agentic systems to help women builders create companies. And I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. Okay, I've got to hear. You must be surrounded with bad advice all the time. I want to hear. The one that you've chosen to talk about today.
I actually was recently told, as you know, my network is massive, was recently told to think smaller. Yes.
Okay.
I
All
know.
right.
It was wild. And I don't know if it was more like you're going to have such a hard time fundraising or you're going to have such a hard time growing this company because you're a woman. And if you think smaller, you'll be able to execute more because I've been able to do that. And I was literally like, no.
Thanks. All right. Okay. So, wow, that's a good one to dig into. Because I think that there's a lot of people, especially women, but just a lot of founders who can probably relate to that, even if they haven't been told outright. I think that it's implied quite often.
Yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
So where, you don't even have to name who it is, but like kind of give us an idea of where this came from.
It came from venture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It came from venture, that someone that has been following, but not enough to know who I am personally. And it was a connection that I was like, hey, I'm just looking for some feedback. I'm going out to all these different people that I know very well, that know me very well, what I'm capable of, but also people that like know a little bit. And then people that have seen or commented. And I would just reach out because I'm terrible. I want everyone to tell me their feedback, whether it's valuable or not. I just want all the data. And so I went to a few other people, and one was like, I think this is smaller. This is probably just lifestyle. You're not going to be serving the venture style businesses. And because you're serving, small business orgs in the long run, you probably are not going to be able to do X, Y, Z. And I thought that was such a strange way to look at it, because I'm like,
Yeah.
the small businesses in this economy are what fuels everything. Like, and you're telling me that because I'm serving them, I have to think smaller like them? That it just didn't make sense to me.
Not to mention the fact that there's plenty of examples of like extremely large businesses serving small businesses.
Yeah, I
Right.
think when it comes down to feedback, what I have found is that it's really that they don't believe that you can do it. And it's less of like the idea, or, maybe I did a poor job communicating what I'm attempting to build, which I think I'm pretty good at that. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to, does that person believe that you can accomplish what you're saying that you can do? And most often the feedback comes down to like, I don't think you can accomplish that, but maybe you can accomplish this kind of thing.
Okay. Which sometimes might be good advice. Like if you're getting out over your skis and in life, right? If somebody that's
Yes.
kind of like, let's play back in. But I think most of the time, especially for a founder, that's pretty bad advice. So, but how did you, first of all, what did you do about it? How did it make you feel?
Honestly,
What did it
nothing,
make you
because I
do?
get so many data points. I'm obsessed with data. So I just get so many data points that I can filter out the shit real fast. And so at the end of the day, it's our jobs not to take anything personally. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Sure.
I always say, like, fuck your feelings. It's not about your feelings. It's about like really taking in data that tells a story for you to identify like what you should be focusing on. And what I found too in coaching a lot of founders is that data analysis is actually not a skill that most people have. And
Mhm.
it takes a really long time to get good at it. And finding signal amongst all the noise is one of those things. So pattern recognition. And I don't get offended because I'm like, you don't know me enough and you're just one blip. And I reached out to you because you're credible in XYZ. Do I need to take that feedback? No. Am I going to cry about it? Also, no. Am I going to come back to you for advice? Definitely no.
Okay, so that one, because you're a data junkie, which is amazing because that's also what you're doing with Theanna and what you're doing for your life. So that's amazing. For everyone who's not a data junkie, what what advice do you have, because the advice for founders, the second you say you're building something, everyone has an opinion. So
Yeah.
what advice do you have?
Document everything. The easiest thing to do, well, the biggest mistakes I see people make in data collection is that they don't actually call it data collection. They're just having conversations and they hear what they want to hear, whether it be like happy ears or something negative, and they hone in on that rather than the big picture. The easiest way to get out of that is to document all of it and then to compare apples to apples. So like you can put columns in an Excel sheet or use AI. Be like, here are 10 transcripts of conversations I've had. Can you pull out the data patterns that you're noticing? And most often, it will not say, by the way, one person said this, you should focus on it. It'd be like, this person was a dick.
Okay, so
Well, at least my Claude would say that.
right. I like it. I actually talked to another founder that said that he had been journaling for years, and, he was like, "This might sound nerdy," and I was like, "Not to this group, this is what we
Yeah.
do." But he had built a Claude around, like, his own personal project around all the things that he had written to
Oh,
use as a
that's
mirror for
amazing.
himself about, like, "Hey, this doesn't seem like you. This thing that you're thinking about doing doesn't seem like you." So,
I
you
love
know,
that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, when you do get some feedback, so you're constantly seeking feedback, you're constantly seeking data points. When you do hit an outlier that feels like there might be something there, what
Yeah.
does that look like to you?
I typically then go to my, like, trusted circle and be like, "Hey, I this actually just happened yesterday. Someone who I really trust was giving me feedback where I was like, this feels off. I trust this person immensely, and something didn't feel right about it. Yeah. And so I went to another very trusted source that I like go to every single week, multiple times a week. And I was like, I need a gut check. Something is telling me that maybe this is something, and my gut saying it could be, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't know yet. I don't know everything, and oftentimes when I feel like I don't have that internal conviction of like I know the answer or that's enough for me to go and make a decision, I have to check with other people that have done it or done things that I have not done. So I
Mhm.
never go to people that are like in the same stage as me because they won't have the answers. They don't have enough like underlying data to say like, no, this is a pattern. And so I did that yesterday. And I'm like, I just need a gut check. A couple of these things feel valid, but some of them also feel off. Can you give me a second opinion on these? And this person also was like, okay, I see where that's coming from. I see how it relates to you. But let's think about these other things as well. And let's step back and look and have the perspective of does it make sense of what you should be doing? And what ended up happening is we came in the middle. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's super helpful because some of the context really matters in a lot of different things. There's so much nuance that you can't really put your finger on. No one also has as many data points as you have, right? Like you have a million data points that no one ever could see. You're seeing things that are unspoken, right? In building companies. And so it's your job to be able to pause and like think about it, add context, add your own color, get some feedback, and then make a decision fast. Like the worst thing I could do is go like, well, now I'm going to talk to 5 more people and that's going to take a week. I don't have a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hearing data. So seeking lots of data, lots of feedback, actually documenting, and then who you surround yourself with super duper matters because they have to know the business. They have to know, like you said, I think it's really important. They have to have been where you're trying to go, right? So
Yeah.
they get it. It's not, somebody who knows you really well but doesn't really understand this journey that you're on. And three, they have to know you. Like they have to be like, this doesn't feel right for you, or like, yeah, that's super good advice, but I don't think that aligns with you. Like,
I think too, Lindsay, they also have to have as a fourth point macro and microeconomics. So like they have to understand the meta level of generally the thesis you're building around. Like if they don't even have that generality, don't bring them in because they will miss the point. You'll have to educate them. It's like if I was building, I'm building an agentic system. I'm going to go talk to a mom and pop shop that has $15 million in revenue every year. They have no clue, right? What the patterns that I'm seeing. So you have to make sure they also have that macro and micro level of understanding too.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you find these amazing unicorn people?
You're gonna laugh, but mostly on TikTok.
Really? That's amazing. Okay,
Recently,
tell me
yes.
more.
I mean, I've been building my network for a long time. Like,
Mhm.
networking has been something that's been
Which
ingrained in me,
which is
since day one.
important. Yeah,
It
I
is.
think that's something not to be brushed over. Like if anyone tells you building your network is frivolous or just because of ego or you're trying to be an influencer or it's a waste of time, like building your network is one of the most important things you can do in life
And
and
start
in your
early.
career at all.
Like, most people start building their network when they're in an "oh shit" moment,
Yeah.
and you need to be doing it when it's a vitamin. Like, it's, "Oh, I don't need this, but I really want to, like, start to learn about other people and what they're good at and why," and, like, you never know what will come of it. And so networking also takes a really long time to build those relationships. Like, so many different touch points, time between each touch point, the relevancy between the touch points. There's so much that goes into that. My network has been honestly incredible. And thankfully, I also have been in this stage of business, 0 to 1, my whole career. So everyone I've been surrounded by, I didn't hop around to like corporate or solopreneurship and, all the influencer creator content.
Sure.
Like, I didn't jump around. I've only been in this space for 15 years. That
Mhm.
helps a lot. Like, my founding engineer, we were together in my first job in 2012. And so when it was time to hire, I'm like, I know exactly who I'm hiring. Like, he's safe. He's great at XYZ. And he's a good person. I know his wife. I know his kids. I know when he got his first dog. Like, I know all the things about him. And that network you cannot replicate in just a year.
For
So,
sure.
one is build it over time and take it seriously because you never know what's going to happen. The second is I started building in public. I'm very open about building the business.
Which,
Um,
people should follow you because it's good. First of all, it's good content. It's interesting. And 2, it's
it's
you are open. You're open, you're real. I think there's a lot of people that need to see more of this kind of behind the scenes of what it is actually like to build.
yeah. I mean, I actually do it because it's therapeutic in a sense because my husband's not a founder. I work from home, and it's been helpful for me to be like, this is in my head. I need to get it out of my head. Let me put it on the internet. And I guess, like, most people don't do it just because 'cause they're afraid of, like, what people are gonna I don't give a shit. I'm like I just don't care what people think, and I think life experience, knocks you on your butt a few times to get to that point, but I do it because it feels good to, like, just get it out of my head, like, "Okay, it's out." I also feel like when I do it, I'm able to educate more on myself while because I talk through the things and I'm talking in real time. Like, oftentimes I'm not like thinking about, I'm going to post this and this is what I'm going to say. It's most often, oh, like I just did that today on my growth graph, of what happened for 6 months. And I'm like, yeah, oh man, you can literally see the mistake I made in this graph. And it happened for like 5 months and it was devastating. I was like, but no, look, it's going back up. I'm like, so
Yeah.
don't give up. And so I started doing it on TikTok, what I was mentioning earlier is, and literally TikTok has opened so many doors for me, which is super wild. You have to curate all your algorithms to be exceptional to fit the mold of what you need it to be. I did that on day one. I never had a TikTok before, so it was easy for me to do that. And I found investors, I found founders, 138K in ARR, all from organic TikTok.
What?
Yeah. All because I just started posting like 10 times a day about everything that I'm doing. And I think
Gosh.
women will just message me and be like, "Yeah, I feel seen. I know what you're doing. I love what you're doing. How do I become a part of this?" And it becomes this like exclusive space that everyone's like comfortable and safe and can talk about the hard things. Like, I can't obviously show you the feed inside Theanna, but it's people talking about imposter syndrome, data, wins, contracts, technical challenges. Like, it's very like in the weeds, which is what I wanted. And yeah, TikTok got me there.
Wow.
Wild, I know.
Who knew? That's crazy. Okay, so we've talked about data, we've talked about network and relationships. I wanna hear about, like, you and your vision for this company, your values, like, your own discernment, your gut. Tell me about where that comes into play.
So I mean, the reason I started this company generally was because the statistics are so ridiculous. I have 3 girls. So it's pretty personal to me because I'm like, I'm trying to build a better life for obviously myself, of course, but like more so my children. Like the last thing I want is my 9, 5, and 3 year old to be like, so I'm not allowed to do these things because I have these genes, which is just insanity to me. And that's a whole other conversation. But um, part of that was like an awakening of what am I doing with my skills? Like I have all these skills and I love them. Like I really love building. I have frankly OCD, so I get obsessed with things, and this is something that I just became obsessed with really early on. And bottom line is like I want to change the statistics. And I believe that there's so many solutions out there that are band-aids. They're patching things up that they see. Like we were talking before we started recording, like the women funds, right? Those are band-aids after after founders have already created. And the only way truly to find out how to change the systemic issues is by day one data. And so what is the underlying like part of building a business in addition to all the demographics that go into that. And so the whole goal ultimately was how do we get enough data intelligently to be able to understand what's going on and how do we serve them where they're at when they need it so that they don't spiral, they don't drop the ball in specific areas or chase things because they thought that was what they should do. Let's give them opportunity where it makes sense. Like an example of that could be, well, I just hit 100K in revenue my year one in my solopreneurship, but I want to try to build this. Can I connect with a bank that'll give me 20K loan? It could be that a basic example, right? Another example could be like I'm building a tech company that is, my goal is to replace my salary, but I need a grant just to get me a little over the hump. I don't want debt capital. Oh, great! Here's a 10K grant that fits all the things that, based on your company, you can apply here, right? So the goal isn't necessarily to build unicorns; it's really to serve women at where they're at, so that they can feel fulfilled and also do what they want to do with their lives, like that whole work life integration. So that's sort of where it started. And it's where it stayed. And now how we do that has changed in terms of technology, of course, because technology is moving so fast. And that's what we're building. So my values all come down to like, I guess the human part of companies of like building. And I believe very firmly that AI can take us in a lot of crazy places, and I love that as a builder. It's so fun, but I really think that it's only going to make, communities more disparate and difficult to find, and I really wanna lean into that. I think that if we're gonna find success in life, it's not just using technology, it's using technology with the humans involved, and so that's another thing of people are like, "You built this combining these 2? Like, I've never seen that." I'm like, I know because it's hard. Building community is very hard. I launched with the community first because I had to prove my superpower was to get people there. And so I couldn't even build the technology on top of that until I proved it. And so that's like another one of my values. And I think more in home, like, I have 4 kids. I have a husband. We've been married almost 12 years this year. What? I still feel like I'm 25. So I'm like,
I
how?
know, it creeps up on you. It's like, "How is that
Like,
possible?"
yeah, I'm like, I don't know how we have 4 kids and 2 like, what? We haven't
Yeah,
worked like, it almost feels like, are we old enough for this?
I
Um,
know. Yeah, I feel you.
it's a weird feeling, and I'm like,
It
"Wait, I'm
is.
like a true adult, like, I've hit adulthood."
Yeah,
Like,
I know, I have 3 teenagers, and I'm like, "That's
no,
funny," because I'm
no,
barely not a teenager, so I feel you.
no.
It never changes.
It never changes. Yeah, it's so weird. So family is really critical, in
Mhm.
how I'm building this as well. I think God chose a great partner. We've known each other since we were kids. Back to networking, the long term. We've known each other since we were 12,
Talk about
literally.
that as, like, a life strategy,
Yeah, there's a
just
life strategy that I apply to everything. And honestly, I probably would not be able to do this if I didn't have a great partner. Um, yeah, no, like, he picks up slack. He like, where I can't do it, and he does it without asking. He's just great. I think it helps that he's not an entrepreneur, frankly, because he's not, like, obsessed where I'm like, "I have to fix this. I have to go do this," and, get the bug-eyed of all these things. So he doesn't feel that, like, pressure as well. He has other pressures, of course, but just different, where it allows him flexibility to pick up where I've dropped. And we had to go through some like learning curves in this process. But yeah, he's the best. So I couldn't do it without him.
I don't know if people talk about that enough. Your partner and even just your personal life, right? So your family, your friends, your community, the people you surround yourself with. I don't know about you, but I kind of came up with this understanding of all of that was extra. That was
Yeah.
luxury. That was frivolous. It was like, oh, would be like you can be super career oriented, or you can have people in your
Yeah.
life. Like you can have best friends and a great marriage and a great family, or you can have a great career.
Yeah.
Um, and you can do it all, but if you do it all, it's gonna be colder and lonelier,
Hmm.
and
I
I think that that couldn't be e any m like, that's such a lie.
Yeah, I would never classify it as cold. Um, I think there's a lot more effort that has to go into your relationships in general. And what I also think you find out is like what's important to you and who's important to you and like who's your inner circle. I don't need a bunch of friends. I don't need like 10 friends that I see every week. Like I need the people that know me so deeply that and in addition to me feeling that same way about them, that I can rely on at any given time. And I have my circle. It's friends, it's family, it's all the things that since kids, like all my relationships started as like weird children.
Yes.
Um and I'm thinking about my friend Morgan. I sent her a voice note right before here because it's her birthday, and I haven't seen her in like 3 months. Um, but she's the one that introduced me to my husband at the swim club when we were 12. Um, so
That's
back, yeah,
amazing.
all the way back there. How old am I? 38. That's 26 years ago, which is wild.
Wow.
Um, but I think you also have to put in intentional effort to nurture those relationships. And if you, there's a lot of effort that goes into that. If you're not intentional, like I think you're putting yourself in like a box that you probably don't want to be in. Um, I really care about relationships. Like those are really important to me. They help me like survive ultimately. Not everyone's like me, but I think you can have both. I don't think you can do it all. Um, no, I definitely don't. I drop balls all the time. But what I've noticed is that the balls that I drop, they don't need to be held up.
Mm.
I'm like, and
Mhm.
I put self pressure on myself that, oh, that had to be there. It didn't have to be there. No one's dying. No one's hurt. No one even noticed. I just put that on my list. Why? I don't know. Go above and beyond. Well, who's going to notice and who cares? No one.
Yeah, or this deadline, this self-imposed deadline, it actually doesn't matter, yeah. Okay, so I wanna come all the way back to the bad advice of, you need to think smaller. I mean, think about everything we just talked about. I mean,
So fucking big.
6 figures generated through TikTok, lifelong relationships that have literally, like, been your lifeline,
Mhm.
um, like, a network that you've been cultivating over, 15 years,
Yeah.
a business that's growing, founders that look to you for guidance. Like, that sounds like some pretty big stuff already, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's already there. And it kind of seems to me like thinking smaller would be shrinking, not resetting
Yeah.
the the finish line. So, what is your advice for other founders that might find themselves in a similar position where they're thinking big? They're not trying to launch a product, they're trying to launch a movement, and people are trying to help them reset their expectations. Where do you think that comes from, and what do you think they should do with it?
I mean, no one knows you like you. You are the only person that knows what you're truly capable of and can make the decisions accordingly. And the only way that you can do that is if you're confident in yourself. Um, you have to believe in you at the end of the day. And if you take feedback, like think smaller, and you actually use it, that's a reflection on your internal conviction and confidence and what you've built out. And so do some self work, right? If you want to think big and you want to do big and you want to accomplish big things, start taking the small steps to get to the big result. It doesn't mean that it has to be quote unquote smaller.
Mhm.
Um, But there's a lot of self-work that goes into this process to be able to accomplish what you think you can accomplish.
So true. Like that in and of itself is a whole episode. I mean, it again, people things that people don't talk about, which is the self-work, you have to know yourself first. Like it's non-negotiable. Otherwise you're going to get blown around like a
In
tree in
the
the
wind,
wind.
100%. Yep.
Amazing. Okay. Well, what else do you want people to know about Theanna? This is a whole audience full of founders.
We're gonna take
So
over the world.
I believe
We're
it.
gonna take over the world. We're gonna help every woman that ever has an idea, and it's gonna be so fucking fun, so join the ride.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Consider me on board. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. I know how busy you are changing the world. So thanks for being a part of it. Thanks
I
for
appreciate
counterbalancing the bad advice with some good advice.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. This was awesome.
Thanks for joining me for Actually I Can. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. And look for me over on Substack, where I write for founders every week and actually go a lot deeper on some of these conversations to give you more information about how it all aligns to the Brave framework and the founder's journey. Remember, discernment is a valuable skill. Think of this show as practice. Go do something brave today. Thanks for joining me on Actually I Can. We'll see you next time.